Welcome. I'd like to call this meeting of the Broome County Industrial Development Agency of April 19th, 2023 to order. Looking for a motion to approve the minutes of our last meeting on March 15th, 2023. Thank you, Dan. Is there a second? Thank you, Mike. Any discussion? Let's have a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Moving on, we come to the part of our agenda where we have our public comment session. Anybody wishing to speak on any matter concerning the IDA, please feel free, limit your comments to 5 minutes and state your name and address for the record.
I'm John Solak, I'm in Bennington. I support ice cream. You know, it looks like it's gonna be highly profitable. No controversy there. Thinking about. Yeah, I lost my train of thought. This happens, you know?
Ice cream doesn't.
Yeah. Maybe it's good I don't talk. I proposed something to the city council. The president said he's gonna run with it. I don't know if he will. Called the Truth in Economic Development Announcement Act. And what that does is essentially make winging it when politicians have photo opportunities impossible. You put the documents out, and it's interesting that 2024 I have a feeling this agency will be used as a soundstage for political campaigns. And ideally, no one ever gets elected to a 4-year term and then announces a big economic development project. Isn't that amazing? February of the first term. Hey, I've just secured a business, It's always when they're right. So I think a better job can be done policing it and putting some restraint, if that's possible, on elected officials that want to claim credit for everything, whether they. And I think that if something, for example, is contingent on state funding, it should be thing. But all this can be really nipped in the bud with a completion bond. Somebody comes up to you and they've got big ideas and big promises. They go through zoning and planning. Well, how about a few bucks, $1 million or $2 million on the table with a completion bond? If you don't live up to the project, we're going to take it because you've wasted our time, you've wasted our resources, and who knows what. Because I've tracked it now. Mayor David, God bless his heart, businessman. He had a track record in the last couple of years of like 50% of these projects, officially are kaput. So, I mean, that really is something. And I'm to tell you the truth, I'm very tired of politicians delivering these projects of negligible value. Now, what kind of residents do we want to attract? We hear a lot about this. There's people still beating this. Young people are moving to the cities. These are discerning connoisseurs of everything from coffee to beer. Well, that thing's played out because sooner or later people have to grow up, fish and cut bait. They either have to decide that they're going to raise a family or be an adolescent for the rest of their life. And this does sort of counteract with this revitalizations in downtown. I mean, I spot these people all the time. I spotted a baby carriage in Baltimore and they were having gelato. And I say, as soon as that kid grows up, you're going to have to get up there to Hunt Valley because you're not staying around here, no matter how close it is to your work, simply because of schooling and safety. So since safety is on the agenda, what do we do? What does the IDA do to encourage public safety and law and order? That's a big concern, and I think it should be addressed. But you're burning land. Someday you're going to run out of land, and maybe the university will pick up all these failures because that's what seems to be happening. Whenever something fails, the university, and here's a prediction for you. The Goodwill Theater is taken over by Binghamton University after 22, 25, $30 million and 23 years. That's where that one's going to wind up. So, I see a lot of promises. There's less business now in Johnson City on Main Street than there was before. And you know, these narratives fall apart. They fall apart in the most ironic way. You know, this is a pharmacy school. We're gonna do small batch matches. This is the university. You know, this is our
30
campus.
seconds, John.
And then what opens up? A plasma center. You know what I mean? You know, that's a sign of university prosperity. Some poor guy on meth going up to the plasma center to make a donation. You know, you gotta love it.
Thank you, John. Would anybody else like to comment at this public comment period? We'll close this session and move on to the executive director's report. Stacy.
Sure, just a few things to update the board on. I would like to commend and congratulate Gina on the first completion. As required by the New York State Authority's budget offices, all of our required Paris reporting was done as of March 31st, actually just prior to March 31st. So Gina's done her first walkthrough with the Paris system. So it's a good thing it's once a year. It's not,
Still here?
yeah, it's not the most intuitive computer software, but so my thanks to her for getting that done. As part of that, we also are working on the completion of our annual pilot and bond report. We typically allow some time for the ABO to review all our Paris reporting if they feel there's any reconciliation or any questions that they have on our projects. We will give that some time, and we expect to have our pilot and bond report completed in May, and that will be available to the board and to the public on our website. There are also a few legislative items. I'm not sure if any will be directly negotiated as part of the New York State budget, but there are a few legislative items related to IDAs that we are working with our state association to support. It's not often that we support legislation being proposed for IDAs, but we like these ones. One would be the allowance for school districts to calculate pilot payments in their tax cap growth factor. This is something they are prohibited in doing. And we feel that while it is not a traditional real estate property tax payment, it is income that they can use in their tax cap growth factor. We have spoken with several districts who also support this. And actually our state association is working hand in hand with the New York State School Board, School Superintendents Association. Oftentimes, you know, there is the argument used that we're hurting the schools with some of our programs, but in fact, this is a program in which both the schools and the IDA Association are working in lockstep with each other. There is also continued discussions that have been going on for years about the potential for IDAs to use their own funds to create loan or grant programs. The state association has supported this. I feel there is benefit with the ability for each local IDA to dictate the terms of how such benefits would be created. So we're watching that one closely. And then finally, there is a proposal to amend a portion of the general municipal law, which is our governing legislation, that would provide more flexibility to IDAs in providing assistance for housing to address the state's stated housing goals. The housing compact and bail reform seem to be the two issues that are still being negotiated. With regards to the housing compact itself, one of the sticking points is that there is a provision that would override local zoning. We have no position on that, but we do support any amendments that would allow the potential use of IDA assistance if it could create new housing options in the community. So devil's in the details as always on those, but they're things we're watching closely. We also finalized our annual report for 2022, and we will get that to the board. We're just waiting on that final design formatting, and that will be published. And we are submitting a PowerPoint presentation that Brendan's been working on with Alon. So we are asking Empire State Development to allow us to apply for FAST funds, again, the state's shovel ready fund, for 600 Main Street. Because that site is below 40 acres, which is what the state's criteria was, a minimum of 40 acres. You can make an argument if a site has strategic advantages to your community and it's below the 40 acres, you can basically ask them to allow you to apply. So we're submitting that presentation, which kind of gives an overview of the work we've done on the site thus far. We are asking for funds to direct infrastructure improvement funds to elevate a portion of that site out of the floodplain, which we think will make it more marketable. So that is going in.
Stacy, how many acres is that?
It's about 27 acres. And yeah, and the criteria for FAST to be considered for any direct funding for infrastructure is they've set the criteria at 40. I don't know where they came up with 40. But they said if a site is below, you can essentially try to make the case that it's a valuable site. So we'll see what they say on that. And then Brendan is submitting within the next few months, hopefully the final tranche of the CD Community Development Block Grant COVID recovery grants that we've been working on for some time. We hope to have the program closed out by end of summer. We have been able to distribute close to $1 million in COVID recovery grants through this program, not without a little bit of headaches, but it has been a way to support some local businesses here who were still struggling with some COVID issues. So, and you have here. You do have a copy of is this the most recent game or is this Q1? This covers Q1. Yes. So your marketing and community development report summarizes Q1 of 2023 for all of our marketing activity. Amy, do you want to just hit maybe any high points on this?
Okay. So one thing I wanted to pull out, if you just want to flip to, let me see what page number it is. Page 5. That's the one that just has all of the main statistics. We'll just go through those really quickly. So our marketing in Q1 still performing above industry standard across all 3 formats that we do: the targeted display, LinkedIn, and SEMs. We're performing at least double, if not in some cases triple of industry standard, which is really exciting to see. One thing I wanted to point out to the board is LinkedIn is the one that we have always struggled with the most, with the click-through rate always maintaining high. It's still currently above industry standard of 0.39%. Our lowest value this quarter was a 0.51. So still very exciting, but you can see where it started at the quarter at 1%, almost a 1.1% click-through rate, and it started to go down. So we have already responded to these numbers and submitted a new ad. So it's going to hopefully bump those views back up, because just as a reminder, especially for our board members who haven't been here for many of my marketing reports, LinkedIn is a very interesting beast to market with. It's very expensive, but it's the reason why it's good. You're able to target directly to the job titles and positions of folks at companies. The way that kind of bites in the butt though on the other way around is the same 600 people are going to see your ad for the same 3 months, and eventually they just stop clicking. So luckily that's not the case for this ad yet, but we decided to switch out some creative. And just a reminder too, right now, that our LinkedIn is currently being used as an in-kind match for a federal grant that we're a participant on, the Collaborative Recovery and Empowerment of the Southern Tier, which is run through the Southern Tier 8 office. So that's a large ARC grant that's going into its 3rd year. It keeps getting extended because it's a very successful project, which we love to see. And since we're the lead marketing partner on it, we have donated our LinkedIn services, try and help folks with that workforce development program. Other than that, as you can see, our SEM is still high, almost at 3%. Targeted display still above industry standard. And then for our social media, things are still growing, which is exciting to see. And our website, things are still growing. Our acquisitions are mainly due to our advertising. One confusing thing, another thing on the agency acquisition report for the website. Our top channel is considered other. That is actually, in our case, our targeted display ads. It reviews as other on Google Analytics because not every category of ad they have a way to track exactly. So that can get grouped in directly with the referral numbers. So that referral percentage should be added to the 62.9% for a total of 81 or 82% and change. That's how we get most of our website traffic is through those ads, and then from there it's folks just typing it in. So very exciting stuff.
So I have a question, probably
Absolutely.
because I'm new.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with some of these terms, and looking back at page 5 again.
Yeah, absolutely.
What does CTR stand for?
So that's our click-through rate. So that's the actual rate that folks are clicking on our ads, and depending on where our ads are sending, they're either coming to our website, which is the case for ours, or on our LinkedIn. That's going to our partners' website for the grant right now.
Okay,
Our SEMs also send either to the Broomswood or the agency.
and what
website
is
as
an
well.
SEM?
Search engine marketing. So when you're Googling something, right now, some of our terms are like best places to locate your business in New York State. Broome County and the agency will pop right up at the top there. So, it's definitely a really exciting, a really fun campaign to do. At least, it's just a bunch of words, but I think it's fun.
And what is an impression as opposed to a link click?
Sure thing. So an impression is like the actual times it's been viewed. So it's the amount of times that it might have show up on your, best way to describe it is also used a lot in social media marketing.
Mhm.
So when you're scrolling through your Facebook page and you see a post, that post counts you seeing it, even if you don't touch it, even if you don't like it, it counts it as an impression.
Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Now, were they gonna, we talked before about them trying to, if somebody shows an interest, pull them in deeper, were they gonna work on?
So we have view throughs running. We do not have any view throughs that have been successful yet. So
Okay.
we still are.
So they're
waiting.
trying to,
Mhm.
they're trying to capture
Yes.
that.
Yep, so they are doing the retargeting as we asked them to do, and they're doing it with the existing funds, like we said, they're using the same creative, and unfortunately, folks just aren't double clicking.
Okay, well, but, you know, this obviously doesn't hurt to try because
Right,
eventually, you know,
Eventually, somebody will.
Somebody will.
That's the hope.
once
So,
two hundred
I'll
ninety
get
years.
Exactly.
Oh, and then how did I not mention this? I also started to include, so sorry, and then I'll be done. On the final page, I started to include some Mailchimp analytics. I do this for the Chamber of Commerce's report downstairs. They send far more emails than we do. We only send typically a monthly newsletter. You'll notice that February was missing. I was unfortunately unwell during that period of time. But other than that, our emails are also performing well above industry standard. The average open rate is around 21%, and our newsletters go from 35 to 40% of an open rate, which is pretty exciting to see. Especially since a lot of our email listing is our clients, and a lot of clients that have already previously worked with us, and maybe not folks who are currently actively working with us, so it's nice to see them still engaging.
And we cross, in
Mhm.
this case, it's a chamber members
Yep.
as well, right?
Yes, we do.
Thank you. Any questions for Stacy? We've all had a chance to look at the internal financial report through March 31st. Are there any questions? And I trust you've had a look at the loan activity report as of March 31st. Any questions for Natalie?
Okay. You're not the payoff.
Oh, the next one.
Oh.
Still showing that financials.
Oh.
I can know.
Okay. We had one of our loans pay off, which won't show
Yeah.
up this month in the financials, but next month. That
Thank you.
was,
Right drive.
right, child.
It was one of the COVID loans.
Moving on to new business resolution, accepting an application from Funky Bees LLC and authorizing a New York State and local sales and use tax exemption in an amount not to exceed $29,603.68 for a term not to exceed 12 months, consistent with the policies of the agency in connection with the renovation, development, and equipping of the property and building located at 1344 Route 26 in the town of Vestal, County of Broome, and state of New York. Stacy.
Yes, we have an application here that went to governance from Funky Bees. Bill Stewart and Felicia Davis are here. Should the board have any questions? This is to our small business incentive program. This is our sales tax exemption program to help small businesses with commercial renovations, constructions. Funky Bees LLC is looking to renovate the existing building at 1344 Route 26 in Vestal into a destination location, including ice cream, hot dog stand. They will improve the electrical, plumbing, roof, exterior and interior facility, develop and upgrade acreage into a family destination, including family games, a play yard, a dog park, fencing and patio area. And will upgrade the existing entrance to be in line with DOT specifications. And this also includes the equipping of all required facilities and necessary equipment. The total project cost is $434,207. I can't say that today. With a sales tax exemption valued at $29,603.68. The project will also provide the creation of 8 new jobs.
Thank you, Stacy. Mayor,
Governance moves it forward as a motion to approve.
is there a second?
Second, I
Thank you, Dan. Is there any discussion?
have a question. You guys got approval from the DOT for the entrance?
We did, and in fact, I was just in contact with them, we had to get a permit, and, didn't, they want us to put, some things in our sidewalk for the blind people.
So we passed through the 239 review back in August,
Okay,
the SEQR review in September. DOT issued a preliminary permit 2 days ago. They asked us to make 3 changes to their previously approved site plan, which was the adjacent sidewalk to Route 26, making it a 90-degree angle for sight impaired individuals. The application of what they're called, the boards, the little pebbles on them, so that
So they can feel.
yeah,
Yes.
the detector, yeah.
And the removal, the original site plan had a white stop bar on it. They just
Can't have that.
removed that, that's all. So they'll be issuing their permit. They were up to inspect yesterday. They'll issue their final permit today.
Good for you, because that can be a holdup.
Yeah.
Honestly and truly, the town of Estill, Broome County Health Department and the DOT have been fantastic.
Amazing.
Super supportive of the project from the
Yeah.
beginning. We were warned by other community members and business owners that this was going to be an uphill battle in all 3 departments.
And it
Not
hasn't.
experienced.
Good,
Yeah.
They've been
good for you. My 5-month-old granddaughter and I are thrilled.
Oh.
Just-
Where on 26 is this?
26, are you familiar with
Yeah.
it? There's a house that looks like a castle.
No, there's.
Well, there was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's right before the Rapido, leaving vessel on.
Towards Copernic.
Main
Towards-
Main Street comes out onto
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
just south of there before you get to Sheedy Road.
Oh, okay, okay.
The only
Yes,
opposition we've had so far is from the Taylor Swift fans, who are very.
There was a video, yes.
So,
3 seconds.
Yeah,
Not even, 1.9 seconds.
yeah,
don't get the Swifties, man.
oh, that's right.
I have one in my house.
They can buy it and move it.
It's true, I know.
What's your timeline?
We could be open, optimistically June 1st, middle of June. Construction started last week. They have an amazing team of contractors. Everybody has been so highly motivated to complete the project. So it's moving very fast.
That sounds wonderful. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Can't wait to try it out.
Thank you.
Any additional discussion? Let's have a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Carried.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Good luck.
Good
Thank
luck.
you. We'll be in touch.
See you this summer.
And if we have to come back in here, we probably will both be much larger.
Thank you so much.
Good luck.
Stacy,
Yes.
so how does this normally work? We accept the application and then what happens? There's some due diligence period and then.
So, yeah, so per New York State Department of Tax and Finance, within 30 days, we will issue their sales tax agreement for the project. They will then assign, what's the official term? Would start to use the ST60s, which are state form that they have to verify the expenditure, the contractor, and the amount. And then we send those to the State Department of Tax and Finance until the benefit is expired. And then that essentially closes out. What step am I
Nope, that's fine.
missing? Is that, yeah.
Yep. So in the meantime, they're purchasing materials, but would they get a refund? then?
No, that's, I wanted to
Yeah.
say that, just to be clear. So when they say they started the project, they're talking more of the demo.
Oh, site
So
work.
the site work, correct. So, and I've already explained to them, nothing, right, nothing can be reimbursed, the project. The dollar amount that's in the application is what will start after,
What-
if it was,
and what is
after the
benefit?
approval of the benefit.
Then does
So-
that come back here for approval?
No.
Or is that all done by the state?
That's all done through New York State. Yep.
They essentially get a tax exempt when they're buying materials.
Yeah.
Correct. It's instead of, you're right, it's called an ST 123 is what is handed to any of
The
the.
vendors, so
the
they know
vendors.
not to apply the sales tax.
On materials.
Right.
Questions? Moving on to item number 7, resolution authorizing the agency to extend the option agreement with Roseanne M. Della Penna for the purchase property located in the towns of Maine and Union, Broome County, New York, through and including November 7th, 2023 pursuant to the November 7th, 2022 option agreement attached to as Exhibit A. Well, I think I don't know that everybody had heard Stacy's pitch earlier, that being that we need additional time to finish up our studies, et cetera. Mayor, governance,
We move it forward as a motion to approve.
is there a second? Thank you, Jim. Discussion, any discussion, questions for Stacy relative to the reason why we want to move forward with this or not want to move forward with this? Let's have a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? I'm gonna abstain on this one once again, relative to the Della Penna family. With that said, is there a motion to go into executive session? Thank you, Dan. Is there a second?
Thank you. The purpose for the executive session is to discuss the sale of IDA owned property and potential litigation related to an IDA project.
Thank you, Stacy. We are seconded by Jim. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried.